Alright, hello everyone. This is Ellington and welcome back. We've got ourselves another replay going here, but this one is not part of the GCSL tourney. This is actually just a couple of us guys having some fun one night, and it's kind of a cool one. You'll kind of see here in a little bit. But to kind of give you a premise of what happened here, it's a 4v4 on the map of Casurgis, and we actually did a random faction wheel. So all the factions you see here are all randomly picked. Each team had 2 respins, so if they got a faction they just were not a fan of or just really didn't like having on the team, they did have a couple opportunities so that they didn't just get screwed with really bad factions, you know what I mean? So, like I said, this one is a 4v4. On one side, with the defenders, we have, actually, my team from the tournament, Flower Power. So, as Tyler's here, we have got Dave the Vassal. And Dave, as kind of a typical Tyler's army, has a lot of tribal warriors, a lot of Oathsworn. I think he's got like 6 or 7 tribal warriors, a bunch of Celtic slingers up here on the wall, a mercenary Thracian peltist. Yeah, actually, maybe he only has 3 Oathsworn. So 2 Oathsworn and 1 general Oathsworn. Then, as Galatia, right next to him is Bud's Rome. And he, once again, kind of with Galatia, you know, you kind of have kind of a standard army, which is a lot of Galatian legionaries, mercenary Styrian archers. I think we're playing on 13,500 funds right now, so 13,500. He brought a Galatian nobleman general, and then he does have a mercenary Cappadocian cav. Then, as Epirus here, we have got Pedro, and he's got kind of a... Epirus is one of those factions that it's kind of a little hodgepodgey with their army. So he did bring a couple Royal Peltists. He's got some of the mercenary Samnite warriors, Italian swords, a couple pikes, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Then finally, we have Seleucid, and they are being commanded by me. I brought, honestly, it was a main core of thorax swords. I've got 5 thorax swords here, 3 hillmen, 2, I believe 2 yeah, maybe only 1 thorax pike. Did I only bring 1 thorax pike? Yeah. So 1 thorax pike, 2 thorough spears, 2 royal peltists, 4 Syrian archers, and then I brought the Agema cavalry general. Then as the attackers here, first as Nervii, we have got Gorm Mjolnir. Gorm Mjolnir is actually another one of the backseat generals, so along with myself and Joe on it. His video, or his YouTube link is down in the description. So as Nervii, you know, kind of another one that you see a lot of the same. So a ton of the Fierce Swords, which are a very good melee unit. It's got a couple Spear Brothers. And then, what did he bring for Oathsworn? He brought 1, 2, and then, see, so yeah, looks like 2 Oathsworn. 3 Oathsworn, 1, 2, 3. Then next to him, we have got Rome. How about that for a hell of a random pick, Rome? But we've got Grey Wolf. And he's got a combination of legionaries and legionary cohorts. I believe he had a Praetorian in here somewhere. Eagle cohort, Evocates, lots of Evocati cohorts. Then he did bring 3 of the auxiliary and Syrian archers, and 1 levy. Interesting. Not what I was expecting, a Balearic slinger. Then next to him we've got Carthage being commanded by Billy Blazes. And he's got a couple mercenary Gallic warriors, a bunch of Libyan infantry on the front line, got some Iberian swords, Cretan archers, and then in the back here, Samnite warriors, and then I believe 2 noble fighters. His general is just a standard general's bodyguard. And then finally, for the attackers, we have got the Odrysian Kingdom being commanded by Beastmaster. Now, Beastmaster's got a combination of a bunch of these Thracian warriors. He brought 4 of the Thracian bows, and then in the back here, this is just disgusting. I believe 5 units of Thracian nobles, including a triple gold chevron Thracian noble. Look at what these guys, they are awesome. Look at that melee attack, 98 melee attack on those boys. Now, on the hill over on this area here, we do have a couple more troops for the Drizzen Kingdom. We have got 2 regular spears, a Dacian Giant Ballista, and his Thracian Royal Cav General. His Ballista, he put it up here because he's got a really nice angle over to our units there. Now, you can see they did some really smart stuff here. They set up their towers in an area where the Scorpions here will shoot at things like the ballista on the wall and shoot at troops over on the ground over here. Same thing over here. You got the Scorpions lined up to try and shoot the ballistas on the wall, basically trying to get rid of these before they become an issue. Now, as you guys can see here, there's a little bit of an odd setup here. I'm going to go ahead and start the battle because what you're going to start seeing, what we decided to do here, we wanted to make this a little interesting. You know, sometimes you kind of get a little tired of doing the same, same drab thing over and over and over again. So when they all decided to go into this area, we had the idea that we're going to come out onto this area and we're going to fight them on the river. We're going to come over here. We're going to destroy this bridge so that they can't cross it and basically force them to cross this area right here. The one thing we really wanted to get rid of before that point, we wanted to get rid of the Dacian Ballista up on the top of the hill. So as you can see, Pedro here has got his firing in. Pedro's kind of our sniper with the wall artillery. He's very, very good at getting these shots out on this way. So we'll see if he can take out all of these. Because you can see they are laying in to this area here. One downside is his range only goes to about right there, which is good for us. So as you can see, we did end up destroying the bridge, and you can see that Dave with Tylus is already moving his stuff out. So he has got already 6 units out onto the outside of this breach. We basically came to the idea we were going to set up in a crescent. Honestly, the way we kind of did it was more like this. Basically so that as this battle line is going, the slingers on the walls can actually assist us in the defense of the outer area here. So as you can see, Rome is he's kind of testing the waters here. He's coming out. He's starting to get units moving forward into the crossing. We do have some of our leftover ammunition starting to fire into them because they did blob up a little bit there. So Buds is at 44 kills on his artillery. So Dave's entire job here was really just to set up the line, to get the line set up in a way, because he's got the beefiest, highest defense guys that we have. So he was here to get that line set so the rest of us could get our armies out and get into combat. So as you can see, I think Rome's making the smart move here. He is pulling back because he's like, shit, I cannot go into this by myself. If I do, I'm just going to get focused here. So he's pulling back, and they are going to kind of think about how they want to approach this instead. They do have, so even though they've got their units drawn out here, you can see that they're very closely put together. So an artillery shot can actually get through a lot of this, as you can see from a lot of the death happening here. So getting some really nice shots into the lines back here. Oh, see that? Rolled right through the Evocati into the Cretans. Oh, and even further, this one went into the Samnites behind. So as you can see, we've got a lot of our troops. I've got my hillmen, got a lot of the Galatian legionaries from Galatia, and then here comes the pikes and the Illyrian levies. And you can see that the Adrizian catapult is trying to get as many shots as he can into these areas, just because they are very, very clumped in this area and coming out of the other side of the gate. So if you get a rolling shot, you can get a lot of kills there. See, a little short there, but like, I mean, you could see he probably would have got 15 kills rolling through this here. Especially that's Thorax Swords, Sam Knight Warriors, combination of everything. Rome's got his archers moving over this way, and Nervy Eye's kind of waiting, taking his time. And then Nervy Eye's got his Scorpion coming up into the center of the formation. So while we've got a little bit of a lull, I wanted to talk about something with the GCSL tourney, okay? The last battle that I put up for you guys was a battle between Veni Vidi Vici and TW Academy. And I feel like, you know, in some ways I might have been a little harsh during the battle. It was brought up to me by one of the players of Veni Vidi Vici after the video was posted that the referee during this match was the player named Gibson. And if you guys haven't already, check out the Total Cheaters video on my channel from a couple weeks ago. It'll explain some of the things that happened with the how they ended up cheating. But regardless, Gibson was part of the team Total Winners that was caught with multiple instances of cheating in the tournament. And the TW Academy team is literally Total Winner Academy. So it is another team that is associated with the Total Winners community. And Gibson, being the ref in that game, apparently bullied the Veni Vidi Vici team basically into playing differently in the way of threatening, you know, disqualification for cheating. Hey, don't do this, don't do that. Are you sure you want to do that? Oh, you better be careful. You might get disqualified. To the point that the team Veni Vidi Vici did not want... They basically couldn't play the way that they would play because they were afraid of disqualification because of the threats from an admin. You know, Gibson not only was the ref for that game, but he was an admin in this tournament, and they believed he would have the power to follow through with his threats. So I have come to the decision I will not be uploading Battle 2 from that matchup. And the reason for that is because I do not believe that it is a fair representation of the matchup itself. Total Winners Academy, the TW Academy, throughout the tournament, we never found any instances of them specifically doing anything wrong. So I also don't really want to pin anything on them because I don't know that they did anything wrong, even though it does look very suspicious. So in the end, I think it is an unfair representation from either side of things. And so I have come to the decision that I will not be uploading that. But I may be... So a viewer came up with the idea of maybe trying to set up a rematch between Veni Vidi Vici and TWA. A non-official rematch, obviously, because, like, you know, there's no way to really do an official rematch at this point. So I'm going to try and set something up like that. But if that does not come through, I might have some other ideas of some stuff we might try to do to get the... I want to give these team, you know, I want to give that team a fair representation of what, of how they play. So... keep an eye out for that, but I just wanted to explain that to everyone to give you an idea that you will, as to why you won't be seeing that battle, that next battle coming out for that round, or for that matchup. And I figured at this point we have a little bit of a lull, so I figured it was a good time to kind of go in and let you guys know, give you a status report on what's going on with that. Myself and Joe on it are still putting out videos for the tournament. Don't worry, we've got a ton more to do. We haven't even gotten into round 2 yet. So there's going to be a ton of content, so keep an eye out on my channel as well as Joe Onnit's channel. Once again, his channel is linked down in the description as well. So yeah, you know, keep an eye out for that stuff. We've got some really good matchups, really good battles for it. As you can see, the Adrizian Kingdom and Carthage have all really adjusted back to this area. You know, so I guess that was kind of an awkward, you know, cross-track back into the battle. But really, getting back into things, the attackers are starting to reconfigure their formation so they can basically decide how they want to approach this. The way we've come at it is we have our really heavy Tylus tribal warriors in the front line. It's kind of hard to see with the trees here, but then we've got some hillmen back here with their javies, and then Illyrian levies from Epirus. And then, as you can see, we still have troops coming out, honestly. You know, we've got some Epirus troops and some troops from Galatia coming out here. Now, Galatia's kind of set up here, really just to kind of keep them. There wasn't a whole lot of room here, so they're kind of keeping them out of the way there. The artillery from the hill over here is still taking some pot shots. It's up to 85 kills. As you can see, it's gotten some really nice shots into the back of this gate and the front of this gate. I'm going to go ahead and hit fast forward here. I did end up sending my general out here just to kind of threaten out on the side here. I saw that, Nervii was moving his Gallic hunters up, and I figured I'd kind of go out there and, give them something to think about. And as you can see, Galatia's moving his mercenary Cappadocians out as well. It just kind of took us a second. This was an unplanned thing. We kind of came to this decision, right as we were setting up our troops. We were like, hey, what if we went out and fought for the river? Took out the bridge and just kind of went out there. And, we were, all the rest of us were like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So, the attackers didn't even know that we were doing this. I'm kind of surprised they didn't take advantage of some of the moving that was going on to, maybe catch some of us, in the process of setting up. Gonna fast forward a little bit more here. Sorry about the little bit of a lull. I just thought this would be kind of a fun battle, something a little bit different. The siege battle that turns into a little bit of a river crossing almost. As you can see, what we actually ended up deciding to do on this side is Buds has sent a bunch of Galatian swords, and I believe his cavalry is over here somewhere as well. Yep, right there. So he's got 4 units of Galatian swords, his mercenary Cappadocians. Then I actually have a Royal Peltist and my Gen over here. So our thoughts were we were going to come out over onto this side, and we were just going to kind of threaten the flank of Nervii. Even if we don't attack, even if we set up here with the threat of, hey, keep an eye out, we've got units here, it means that the defenders, or the attackers, jeez, the attackers basically have to they have to think about where we're at. Now, this was a boo-boo. This was a bad pathing by the Galatian legionaries here. They were supposed to, I believe, join that force, but the path they ended up taking was all the way out here to go this way instead of coming over and coming out that way. So, unfortunately, now luckily we were able to catch that in time, because that could have been really bad for us. So you can see that Rome is coming up here, starting to push. I think that is the right way to go. Rome is the faction that they've got with the heaviest armor. So it's the army that can best tank a lot of the Pila and Javis that will be coming from the defenders here. So it's a good army to kind of lead off as the first wave, while bringing in some of your more lightly armored stuff in behind. Some good Javi volleys coming from the Hillmen here into the legionary cohorts. They're up to 13 kills there. So using the Hillmen here just to get their Javis off. They've got some AP, but what's nice is those Javis are very, very good against armor. So for Rome, it's good to get those nice Javi tosses against that really heavy armor for the legionary cohorts here. little bit of a pull through on the, the legionary going through the Illyrian levy that was not broken. It's not even broken yet. It's wavering still. A little bit of pull through. I don't think it's going to get much out of that, but it's still, pulled right through that Illyrian levy. Trying to get the hillmen back out of this. They were just there for the jabbies. Then we got the counter charge from the Celtic warriors into the legionary cohort. Big push here. Got Carthage coming on the right side of the attacker's point of view, coming in over on this side, and I think we're going to try and kind of adjust the line to here. Now we've got a big archer battle going between. We've got right now Epirus's archers and Galatia's archers duking it out with Carthage and the Odrysian kingdoms, but now we've got my archers here. We've got 4 of the Syrians getting ready to start duking it out with these guys, try and kick them off. Now, Rome took his archers over into the center, which is not a bad idea because we've got all of our archers here, so if he brings his to the center, he might be able to get some, unresisted archer fire into these combats. The hillmen here still kind of involved in the combat. 114, they've got 17 kills. The legionary cohort is up to 102 and down to 97 men. Big battle line here. Sworn in already from Nervii, and then fierce swords on this far left of the attacker's point of view. The tribal warriors just duking it out with these fierce swords here. An interesting combination. The fierce swords are going to have the offensive combat, but the tribal warriors do have that very, very good armor, that 95 armor, and 70 melee defense. Nothing to joke about there. And the Osworn here, wow, Osworn's already up to 135 kills and has only lost 6 men. So that Osworn has just annihilated a lot of guys. Already 145, they are just eating through this side over here. Had a thorax swords from Seleucid come in to kind of shore up that area because they needed something to beef up that line. Otherwise, that Osworn is going to tear right through it. Now, I've got some of my thorough spears set up behind the line here, shooting into the back lines. Look at these Evocati cohorts. They look so freaking awesome. So for this one, I decided to go ahead and use the Ancient Empire's reskin mod, and they make the units, especially the Roman units, just look fantastic. Here's a first cohort. Right here we got the levies. Libyan infantry going up against some of the Samnite warriors and Galatian legionaries. And then we've got a pike coming in. I believe this is from Epirus. Yep, just a standard pike getting into the combat there. Now this left side for the defenders is not looking, I mean, it's a little thin, Got a big push here from Carthage and, not a whole lot left over here. Getting a lot of archer fire coming from Rome. Sometimes it's hard to get a good counter fire. Sometimes you tell your archers to do something and they go charging into combat, or they go running off to Timbuktu trying to get an angle, So sometimes it's hard to get those archers to kind of counter off other archers. You can see Nervii basically decided to kind of box in a little bit there because of this flanking push, but he's going to take some of his Levy Freemen and fierce swords, and he's going to just kind of set up a bit of a defense against the Galatian swords. And then it looks like Buds is just going to kind of pull those guys back. No point in going in now. Thracian warriors here from the Odrysian kingdom, just kind of waiting. These guys really require a good charge to be really useful, so he's kind of waiting until he has a little bit of a cleaner way in. The one downside to that is they are pretty exposed to archer fire at the moment. So these guys have lost, 29 men. These guys have lost 24. Yeah, so the main line right now is really made up of Rome, and got a big push of Carthage on the right. Nervii has got some of his units here, and then got a little bit of a, little drizzle of Adrisian Kingdom units coming in. Now, the Celtic slingers from Tylus up on the walls are shooting down into the Gallic hunters here, or trying. They're getting some shots in, but then I think we've got some thorax swords. Are they actually throwing over into the Gallic hunters? That would be excellent if they were. That's what they really needed to do. It's one downside, most units have jabbies, but most of them you can't control what they're shooting at. So a lot of times they just shoot at random stuff. This archer fight here was a really fun one. I think for both sides, it was just a very, a lot of back and forth. Either side, neither side was really taken off and annihilating the other one. So it was kind of interesting to see how that went, because it would really do, whoever wins the archer fight right here really will decide what comes of this battle, because if the if the attackers here can keep the defenders' archers at bay, then the defenders' archers can't use as much as their fire shooting into the backs or sides of these units over here. That was one of the bonuses to this crescent formation of our defense, was it kind of exposed some of the other side of the line to archers or Pila, things like that. Just a big push here. Rome is in combat here. The Thracian warriors at 57 kills. The Avocates cohorts from Rome at 30 kills. But they're really fresh. They must have just gotten into combat there. Got another one here at 62 kills, one at 37, but another pretty fresh unit. Thorax swords here at 40 kills. Galatian legionaries at 84. Got an Oathsworn here from Tylus coming in. Two of them, actually. This one's at 70 kills and has lost a little over 90. Oh, and look at this. Adrisian Kingdom taking all of his Thracian nobles here, which they look fantastic with this reskin. And he's going to take them and set them all the way over here on this flank. And you know what? When Buds Rome saw that, he was like, hey, Ellington, you know those guys on the far right here? Our guys? I'm like, yeah, what about it? It's like, run away, run. And I go over and look, and I saw all of these Thracian nobles, and you could see we just booked it. We got the hell out of there. 5 Thracian nobles, including a triple gold chevron. We were like, nope, nothing we have there can take this on. So we just said, you know what, there's no point in wasting those units over here. We made our threat. We were called on it, and so let's not waste it, and we'll just leave. So we're going to return to the city at this point. And a lot of reserves here sitting, waiting to go into the combat. A little bit of a counter push here by Tylus. The line was here. He's actually pushed forward a tiny bit into these Thracian warriors and Oathsworn. So actually kind of a little more of that, previously the line was like this. Now our line is actually kind of turned into that, which is, once again, kind of interesting. We can't really take advantage of it on this side because of this area here. You can't really go into this. Otherwise, we could kind of get the same area as we could from the other side, which is, getting really nice shots into the backs and sides of the attackers here. So I ended up deciding to bring my archers all the way over to the other side here. I kind of figured that, the combination of Galatia's and Epirus's archers could handle that side now. So I brought my archers over here basically to counteract Nervii's Gallic hunters. They have kind of had free reign to do whatever they wanted on this side so far, basically because we all were dealing with the combination of Rome, Carthage, and the Adrisian Kingdom archers. So these guys kind of had the ability to kind of do whatever they want. They've kind of gotten plenty of kills, 57, 63, and I think 77. And so I brought my archers over to this side basically to tell them to go away. You know, you can no longer keep doing what you're doing. Just leave, run away. And so he is moving his archers out of here. And I've actually kind of moved a tiny bit to counter that as well, to try and continue to get archer fire onto them. My archers right now are doing pretty solid. 90 kills, 127, 94, and 160. So my archers are actually doing pretty well. These guys have done really well. 160, I know they've still got ammo left. And they're just going to keep, you know, duking it out with these guys. Kind of make them, you know, think twice about coming in here. 73 kills on the Tireless Oathsworn. Just second-winded himself, so he's doing a good job of keeping that unit fresh. One big mistake players make is that, you know, they don't pay much attention to the exhaustion of their units, and exhaustion in this game is incredibly effective. You know, the more exhausted your troops are, it does a huge detriment to their combat capabilities. So even a unit like Oathsworn, you get them exhausted or very tired, and they will not perform. You'll start seeing them drop way more just because of that. Oh man, look at that. Got a cool combat going here. Get some screenshots, you know what I mean? Got to get some cool things here. It never hurts to kind of get in on the combat. I really like the way the Same Night Warriors look as well. Love the shields here. Just oh man, the Thorough Spear Javies coming over the heads of the front line into the backs of a lot of these Carthaginian units over here. Then over here we've got a Thorax Sword and I believe a Royal Peltis, did I see? Yep, Empress Royal Peltis going up against an Oathsworn from Nervii. Then Thorough Spears, I mean, look at how this the center has really pushed forward in the center for the defenders. Our line is kind of turned into that now. So you can see that in the center, you can see there's not very many red flags anymore. So a lot of Rome's units are gone at this point. I believe his infantry is pretty much exhausted. It is, I mean, exhausted in the way that it no longer exists. So really, it is down to a lot of Nervii, still the Carthaginian units, and then the Adrisian Kingdom holding on to his units for as long as he can, basically just because he knows that we still have archer ammo left, so those nobles will really get torn apart by archer ammo. And we're still shooting in. Now I'm starting to focus down these Thracian nobles with my archers. You know, they've lost 22 men so far, but they are going to get quite a bit of kills here. You know, the Tribal Warriors armor is pretty much useless against these guys. You know, their AP, I can't remember what their armor piercing is for the nobles, but it's another, I think it's 10 or 15 AP. Now this side here is the side that we were really worried about. You'd see I've moved my pikes up here to counter it, but this side got really thin for us as the defenders. You know, we were losing pretty badly over here, to be honest with you. You know, most of my units were committed into this side over here. You know, I ended up having to bring my Thorax Pike in basically because it was really the only thing that we had left that we knew could come over here and really hold Nervii off. You know, my Thorax swords were really no match for the fierce swords from Nervii, so we needed something that could really match up against them. Now look at the carpet of dead bodies here. Just death everywhere. You know, just a very fun battle. It was very cool. I thought it was very, you know, just very different. Something that you don't see this kind of thing very often, especially not something unplanned. You know, I've seen people, I've even done things where, you know, you do something like this because, hey man, wouldn't it be cool if we all set up where we come out against you and you guys attack us here? And yeah, that's fun, but it kind of, you know, when it's very scripted, it can be a little sometimes. And so this was just kind of fun because it was random. We changed into doing it, you know, just kind of willy-nilly. We just decided to go at it. We end up adjusting here basically because the the Carthaginian archers and the Roman archers were getting really, really good shots into our sides and flanks. And so we ended up adjusting our line here basically because we were getting shot to hell. But look, it gives us an opportunity to appreciate this battlefield. Just look at through the trees and just scattered along the sandy, you know, outcropping here from the river, you know, just the carpet of dead, you know, even just getting down into where the river is, just dead everywhere. Just a very, very cool battle. Really hope you guys are enjoying this one because it was an absolute blast to play. And I keep talking about how I thought it would be. I think it'll be a fun thing that you guys will really enjoy as well. Now, as you can see, the attackers have kind of reformed here, basically, because they need to kind of decide how they're going to go about the rest of this. You know, at this point, the balance of power is pretty heavily in the defender's favor. It has traded very, very well for us, which honestly we did not think it would actually do. We actually thought that we would do fairly poorly in this because in the end they had a little better infantry than we do. You know, just a combination of the Rome, Nervii's fierce sword infantry, and then if the Drizzian Kingdom was able to use his infantry well, it really would do a lot of damage to a lot of our units. So we actually did this and thought that it would actually go not well for us. So you can see that the attackers have kind of had to basically readjust how they wanted to go about doing the rest of this attack. There's not a whole lot left. Carthage has got some noble fighters and Libyan infantry. Nervii still has fierce swords, levy freemen, a couple Oathsworn that are depleted, but really the meat of the attackers that's left is the Thracian nobles. I kind of think that had the attackers maybe had a little bit more of an archer presence here, that they probably could have kept our archers back and actually probably could have gotten their Thracian nobles into that combat and done a lot of damage with them, you know. And I think that might have been a little bit of a missed opportunity. They had their archers here, but I think that maybe if they had their archers here, they might have been able to get those Thracian nobles into combat sooner than now. Libyan infantry from Carthage. Pretty much all of Carthage is going to go in, maybe take the meat of this attack, and then probably have Nervii come in afterwards. Speed it up a tiny bit at this point. Now, Drizzian Kingdom starting to move those nobles up. I'll tell you what, we saw this triple gold chevron Thracian noble, and we said, ooh, we need to kill that now. You know, when we saw them on the battlefield, we said, when they come up, that is the first thing and the only thing that we are shooting. You know, we kind of specifically held on to ammunition for these guys because they are very, very dangerous. They are very good when used correctly. And we said, we are going to save ammunition for them because that'll be rough. You know, they have 98 attack. When you could throw a headhunt on them, I think they go up to like 106 melee attack or something like that. It's disgusting. Their base morale is up to 87. Charge bonus of 63. That is a melee infantry unit. To give you an idea, my Agema Cab, which is a very heavy shock cavalry, has a charge bonus of 76. And these guys have one of 63. So that is just ridiculously good. It does mean that you need to make sure that you charge in, wait probably 10-15 seconds, and then try and come out of the combat, and then obviously try to do it again. You know, the best way to do that is typically with 2 units going in tandem, having one unit go in, pull out, while the other unit goes in its stead. So full line of Thracian nobles going in. Now the Nervii infantry coming in behind them. So just on the charge, 31 kills, 47 kills. Where did the triple gold go? He's not gone in yet. 160 men still. He's not gone in. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't. And as you can see, we are targeting that unit now because we said we're going to target all ammunition onto that unit if we have it. So you can see right off the bat, they did very, that's what they do. But at this point, now he kind of needs to pull them off, especially here because that is a pike unit that he's in combat with. That looks like a cool picture to me. Oh yeah, look at that. Now he's got the gold one in combat on the far left here, going up against 2 thorax swords. Oh, but it looks like one of them's gone. And then this one's down to 57 men with only 70 kills. 79 on this one with 115 men left. 137 with 48 kills. I think at this point the downside is basically just that there's no infantry to kind of support those nobles. So in the end, like, they can't really pull them out at this point because there's nothing else to hold the line anymore. So if they still had a little more infantry left for the attackers, they may be able to do a little bit more in the way of rotation for those units, since they are just such a good shock unit. You need to be in that rotation of pulling them out, charging again, cycling them. The general's bodyguard from Carthage got caught here by the Royal Peltis from myself, so killed quite a bit on him there. And as you can see, like, the attackers are pretty much do not have much left here. It's pretty much just down to this stuff. A couple Nervii units, some Carthaginians, and then a few of these nobles left. But look at this noble. Last we looked at, I think it was like 70 kills, and it's up to 162. This one's up to 147. Look at them, just the skyrocketing numbers. And then this one, only 88, but it's surrounded. It, once again, I don't believe it got a good charge, and I don't think it used headhunt either. But, that is the power that those guys can have. 203, 166, those numbers just start skyrocketing. But I think it's safe to say that this is pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward this one and get this one done. Real quick, just once again, let's show some appreciation for this battlefield, guys. Just look at that. Tell me that is just not so awesome. You can see where the battle lines really kind of were set, because you can see the highest concentration of the dead bodies there. But this was just a super fun battle. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll go ahead and get it going, finish this one off. In the end, it's going to come down to a unit that's, way back over here that needs to just go away. 82 kills on the Thracian Royal Cav, though. Nicely done there. That is a really, really good melee Cav. They also come with Javies, which is really handy. It's like, most of Adrizian Kingdom does not get Javies, so the one unit they give Javies to is the Thracian Royal Cavalry. So we're going to go and just kind of finish that general off. See if we can witness a good last cav charge here. The Agema cav. Oh, not much of a charge there. That's all right. But that is GG, and that is going to be the end of this battle. So let's go ahead and look at some kills here. So, got myself here with 1,893 kills. Still have a little bit of my army left, though. Got thorax pikes, still plenty of health left on them. These thorax swords still have plenty of kills left in them. The Royal Peltis still has plenty, 22 kills, and I don't think it lost a single man. 219 on this one and still at half power. Look at my archers though, 195, 164. Very nicely. I am perfectly happy with those kills. I am really happy with that. Hillman, obviously, not a ton of kills there. And then my Agema Cav got a couple kills there at the end. I will take 156 kills and 97 kills on the thorough spears though. 180, 180, 115 on the thorax. Then Dave with 2,260 kills. His Oathsworn doing really well. 294, 271, 200. Slingers ended up actually not getting great kills. I was kind of surprised. We were hoping they would get some nice kills from that wall. Celtic Warriors, not a ton of kills. Same thing with the Levy Freeman. But then his Tribal Warriors, 245, 130, 121, 155. So nicely done there. And then Buds here with 2,233 kills. 167 with the Mercenary Cappadocians, 148 on the Galatian Noblemen. His archers doing really well, 143 and 139. Then his Galatian Legionaries doing excellent as usual, 202, 205, 206, 159, 102 and 113, but those guys still have plenty of kills left in them. Galatian Swords, they did average, 157, 53, 56, about what you would expect. This one didn't even get into combat. 82 on the Levy Freeman, I'll take that. And then finally, Pedro with 2,882 kills. It's Royal Peltis, all doing pretty solid. 218, 155, and 141. 141 still had plenty of men left, so he had a lot of kills he still could have got out of that. Getting a Chevron out of 141, he killed some decent quality units. Thorough Spears, look at that, 150 and 169, but they were getting some excellent back and rear, back and side shots. Then his archers, 258, 165, and 122. Very nicely done with them. Illyrian levies, they did all right. This one did pretty well with 82, 109 on the Italian sword. And then the Sam Knights here with 256, 152, and 153. Then it's two pikes with 294 and 301. So really nicely done there. And now for the attackers here, we have Beastmaster with 1,393 kills. His Cav doing really nice, 121. 85 for the artillery is not bad at all. Archers, the Thracian bows, they aren't the best bow they're the best archer in the game, so, they didn't do fantastic. They kind of got focused down by all of our archers as well. But his nobles here with 168, 206, and 280, and 91, so nicely done there with the nobles. But I bet you he wish he got more with that one there. That is an expensive unit right there. Now, with his Thracian Warriors, they did okay. 90, 65, 48. Not great with some of them. 90 is solid. But Billy Blazes as Carthage with 1,582 kills. His archers at 173, 108, 75 here. Then his infantry, 205, 99, and 84. These guys, I guarantee if you asked him, he probably wishes that they got more kills. He probably felt that there's ways that he could have used those better. The Noble Fighters, kind of the same way, 106 and 99, not a crazy amount of kills on them. Us as the defenders, we did have some really good side shots on them. Now, Gorm Mjolnir as Nervii with 2,682 kills. His Noble Horse Jen with 253, 206 on the Celtic Scorpion. It was tearing through our infantry. It was doing really nicely done with that. His archers did solid with 140 and 120, 98 or 93. Then his fierce swords 153, 90, 124, 137, 100. Pretty well with them. Oathsworn 360, 366, 186. Nicely done there. Then finally, as Rome, we have Grey Wolf, 2,142 kills. Now his archers, 122, 84, and 59. Those two, they probably could have gotten a little better kills there. His infantry, Eagle Cohort with 100. It's not great. It's about a little under average, I would say, for the Eagle Cohort. But his Avocados did really well. 246, 187, 138. Then he has a first cohort with 131, a Hastati with 45, his legionary cohorts with 240, 159. So pretty decent there with kills. But that is going to be it for this battle. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to go hit that subscribe button and go check out the other videos I've got. I've got a couple playlists laid out. I have a playlist for all the GCSL tournament videos, and then a playlist for my standard battle replays, and finally a playlist for the streams. After I stream, that video does stay up on the channel. But yeah, make sure to check out that. I've got, I think, up to 90 videos out right now. So plenty to keep you entertained on a slow, boring day. But thank you so much, guys, for joining me. We will see you guys next time.